I was live streamed. Okay.
Okay, I think we are live, but all righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Bank Account. I am Shara Prophet, your host. I am a behavior modification specialist certified in clinical hypnotherapy. So hopefully we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. And let's just check and see real quick because I have been having some tech issues on this end, but okay. Uh, I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see me wherever you are, but if not, anyway, it's being recorded and I will go ahead and post it later. Hopefully we will get this thing figured out sooner than later. All right, you guys. So today we are going to be talking about how to navigate jealousy when you are moving up, when you're rising up in your field, when you are making more money, when you're becoming more noticeable. Okay, for some of you who are entertainers, maybe you're signing big deals now and you're being invited to different events and things like that. And so maybe you're not around the people that you usually are around. So sometimes and it doesn't happen all the time, right? It's not the case with everyone, but oftentimes than not, we do see signs of jealousy and shade and even spiritual attacks. And this can even come from people who are not in your immediate circle. Okay, so let's hop right into this. And this is something that we do hear people talking about quite a bit, how to be vigilant about what could be happening, um, you know, in your inner circle and things like that. But I will say this, anything that needs to be anything that needs to have light shed on it, eventually the light will be shed. It's just that you're going to have to make sure you're paying attention. And when you see the signs, take note. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do something about it right then and there, but you just take note of it. You just kind of file it away in your mental file cabinet and you just tuck it away for another time. And when you keep seeing the pattern show up, then you just kind of just start spacing yourself out a little bit. Maybe you're not hanging out with those people, as much. You're definitely not sharing information with them about what you're going through personally. And you're not talking about projects that you're working on. You're not inviting them into different, circles and events that you attend because you want to keep those spaces sacred, especially if you're noticing that the energy has shifted a bit with people. And this can be, in your closest, most intimate circles. This could even be with a spouse. Okay. So it's very important that if you are the person who is expanding, right? You're experiencing expansion, not just professionally and not just monetarily, but you're experiencing expansion spiritually, okay? That can also cause jealousy. That could cause for people to throw shade and feel like they no longer have a space in your life because you are coming into these higher awarenesses and these higher ways of being and speaking, and your language is changing, the way you live your life is changing. You're not into the same things that you used to be into. So that can definitely create a dynamic shift in your relationships because you're shaking up the foundation. Now, it only becomes harmful when you don't heed it, when you do not take the necessary actions to put up certain protections around yourself, around your business, around whatever it is that you're doing and whatever you hold sacred to you. If you're just ignoring it and you're saying, you know what, I'm not going to worry about that. They're just a little jealous because, I'm doing something different right now. I'm not going to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it, but you do need to put up energetic protections, okay? And some sort of barriers and boundaries in place. And they don't have to be the wiser. They don't even need to know that you're doing all of this, but you do need to start taking some precautions, and you should be doing it anyways, whether you are, expanding or not, whether you're making more money or not, whether you're, you know, coming into new big opportunities or not, it doesn't matter. You should be putting up protections anyways. You should always have some sort of field around you or shield around you that automatically just keeps out certain things that could potentially take you off your path, okay? Or take you out of alignment with what it is that you need to be focused on in that particular time frame. So it's very, very important to make sure that you are staying true to whatever it is that you're doing. Um, let's see, am I live on here? I don't see it. All right. It's all good. I'll post it later. I don't think it's working. But anyways, so the reason why is really important for you to tune into this and be aware of it is only for the sole purpose that you never want to be shaken off your path, okay? Unless you're doing it yourself, all right? Unless you have, distracted yourself. And listen, distractions happen. I'm not one of those people like, don't get distracted, don't get distracted. Distractions happen because life happens, okay? You're on your path, you're doing your thing, and then boom, you get into a car accident. That is a big distraction. So what you going to do? Like, oh, I can't worry about this car right now. I just have to focus on my path. No, you're gonna have to take some time off that path. It doesn't mean that you fully exited the path or the strategy. It just means that now you have to pay attention to something else that needs your immediate attention. Okay. So distractions are going to happen. That's gonna happen regardless because life is lifing always. All right. However, when we feel certain intuitive nudges about people in general, um, you need to listen to that, pay attention to it, and put up your barriers of protection. Some things you will notice are just going to happen naturally. Perhaps, you're not able to link up with those people as much as you used to be, right? Or maybe you keep trying to do a project together and it won't start up off the ground, right? And you're like, I don't know what's going on here. Sometimes the rejection is protection. Okay. So when things don't pop right off, or you don't, or maybe you don't even feel inclined to get something going, it's not always procrastination. It's not always the devil. Sometimes that is your spirit guides, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, intervening on your behalf, saying, no, you don't need to get involved with this situation over here. Not with this person, not at this time, not, with this company or whatever. Okay. So if you find that you keep trying to get things going and keep and getting things off the ground and you're being met with a lot of obstacles and delays, that is a sign that maybe it's not something you need to be involved with. And 9 times out of 10, if you've ever intuitively picked up on a signal that a person may have been throwing, like, the little baby shade, little digs here and there, a little bit of jealousy here and there, or if you feel as though there's some sort of spiritual or psychic attack coming your way, maybe you're not quite certain that it's coming from a specific person. I know for me, I can usually pick up on the specific people. But if you can recall times when you felt a way about a person, something they said, the way they kind of looked at you, or maybe they said nothing, okay? Because sometimes it's not what people say, it's them not saying anything that speaks volumes, that speaks louder than anything, okay? Paying attention to that and then noticing, oh, wow, we've been trying to do this project now for the past 5 years, and for some reason it's just not getting off the ground. Okay. 9 times out of 10, you are being protected from something, especially if you have been putting in the work and you've been trying to get something going. This is especially important for business owners, entrepreneurs, those of you who are artists. You're always doing collaborations and projects with people. If it's not coming together, that's for a reason. It may not always be because they're jealous of you, but that's for a reason. That's just this a little sidebar here. It's for a reason. Allow for the delays to happen. Allow for the setbacks to happen. Let if you're not led to take action on something immediately, just check in with yourself and source and say, hey, what's going on with this? Like, how come I'm not able to move forward on this? Just ask yourself the question. You're going to have the answer. Okay. So when in doubt, ask source and ask the right question when you're in doubt. You don't need to, ask anybody else because most people are not going to be able to tell you what's going on in your life. They're not going to be able to give you the guidance that you need in your life. You're going to need to take responsibility by tapping into the highest part of yourself, which is God, which is source, the creator, lives within you, right? You have the ability to tap into that at any time, all day throughout the day, and just ask the right question. Okay? Because that's the part of you that's revealing the shade and the jealousy and the spiritual attacks. Mine come through dreams and feelings in my body. I get it, I can pick it up, through senses. And sometimes I'll admit, I'm like, I don't even want to pay attention to that right now. Especially if it's somebody I don't know and I'm picking up on the shade, I'll just keep scrolling or I just ignore them. I rarely pick up on that in my personal relationships because thankfully I just don't have that kind of energy in my immediate circle. But for some of you who do pick up on that in your immediate circle, pay attention. Be very, very diligent and trust yourself. Okay? Trust yourself. Stop doubting what you're feeling. That's going to save you each and every time. I speak from experience because we are taught not to trust ourselves, right? We're taught not to pay attention to our intuition. We are taught to seek out the advice of outside authority figures, right? Now, granted, you do need some help if it's something that you are experiencing in your life, let's just say taxes or an accounting issue. If that's not your field of expertise, it behooves you to go seek outside counsel, right? Yes, absolutely. Okay. Even for some medical issues, you cannot do surgery on yourself. I hope you don't do surgery on yourself. Okay. So you do need to seek outside counsel if you need to have surgery for something. All right. But your very, very first point of contact should always be within. You should be going there first because that's the highest, most accurate point of information that you will ever receive. So if you ever need to know, hey, is this person throwing me a little bit of shade? Like, are there people around me I need to be wary of and I need to maybe separate from and put distance between myself with? You will find the answer will show up. It will either show up audibly, meaning that higher awareness, that higher intelligence will speak it to you. The next time you come around that person, you'll get a feeling about them, or they will say something. Usually people will tell on themselves. I know for me, people just tell on themselves. I'm like, you just told me that? Like, you just gonna tell me that? But I'm grateful for it because that lets me know that the energy that I hold and that the energy that is supporting me, right, is always going to make sure that I am offered the truth. It's always going to be revealed to me. So even if I don't know for sure right now in this moment, I'm like, you know what, it's cool. It'll be revealed to me soon. And it's always revealed, always. Okay. So the whole point of this talk today is for you to learn how to trust your inner knowing. Okay. Trust your inner knowing. And it's going to save you so much time, heartbreak, pain. And sometimes you need heartbreak and pain because it's for your own growth and your own information. So sometimes you're just going to have to go through some stuff, right? Sometimes you're just going to have to go through some stuff because you really do need it to highlight adjustments that need to be made within you, you know? Like a broken heart is something breaking open within you. There's a new insight, new awarenesses, new truths about yourself. I'm not saying you got to have heartbreak all the time, but when it does happen, that is an opportunity for you to say, oh, wow, what was this experience about? What was it that I wasn't seeing? And you not seeing it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You not seeing whether or not somebody is being shady or jealous. Sometimes it's just your spirit allowing for things to unfold because it's something that you need. Okay. Certain things are allowed to come through the cracks because, first of all, there's a crack. And in order for you to be aware that there is a crack in your foundation, there needs to be something that infiltrates it, right? There needs to be something that penetrates through it so it can come through and say, hey, you got a crack in your foundation. And you're like, oh my goodness, what is this crack? Okay, that's how we find out what needs to be healed. That's how we find out what needs to be closed out and digested and what we do to ascend. Because you have to ascend. Everybody is not going to, but those who refuse to ascend in this lifetime, meaning they refuse to heal, they refuse to look at themselves and let go of certain things, they'll probably have to do it again. Probably have to do it again. Okay. It doesn't mean that their lives are going to be hard or difficult. It just means that this time around they just weren't supposed to elevate. They weren't supposed to ascend. They weren't supposed to go past where they are. And that is okay. Everybody is not here to elevate and be high-minded and step into ascension. Not in this lifetime. Maybe not even in the next one. Maybe they did it in a previous lifetime and they was like, I'm chilling out for the next two. If you believe in that kind of stuff, I do. Okay. So sometimes you will have to go through tough situations with people who you thought you could trust because there's a message in there. There's a lesson in there for you. And I honestly, the word lesson is kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. So I will just say information. There's information, okay, that needs to be revealed to you so that you are able to make better decisions. Because 9 times out of 10, the heartbreak or the disappointment or the jealousy or you're outgrowing your circle. Maybe you're outgrowing like your childhood friends. Maybe you're outgrowing your family. Maybe you're outgrowing your spouse, right? Maybe you're outgrowing the community that you live in, your neighbors. Y'all just don't, you're not on the same wavelength. Whatever it is, your job. Maybe you've outgrown the people at your job and you've outgrown the job itself. Okay. When people notice that you're growing and they notice that you're expanding and you're shifting into higher elevations and higher frequencies, that what happens is that the jealousy doesn't come because they are hating on you. No, that's not what this is about. That's not what hating is. Okay. That's not what that is. 9 times out of 10 is not even about you. Jealousy comes from the realization that this person is living their life in a certain way that I wish I could live mine. And because they are doing what I want to do, it's highlighting within me something I'm not doing, right? It's highlighting the potential that I'm not tapping into within myself. So that's really what the jealousy is about. Okay. It's a reminder, your glow up is a reminder to that person that they're not moving. They're stuck. They're not doing the thing that they really want to do. Because everybody has dreams, everybody has goals. Some people shut it down because they're afraid to pursue it, or they feel like they're not good enough to pursue it. They don't know enough. They're not young enough. They haven't had enough experience. Whatever. They're not the right body size or body type. So they don't have enough time. We make excuses for stuff all the time. Okay, as human beings, we come up with a laundry list of excuses as to why we cannot pursue the thing that we know is going to make us deeply happy. So when we see somebody else doing it, even if you're happy for that person, there can still be a little twinge of jealousy inside. You're a human being. Everybody gets jealous, first of all. Let's just say that. Everybody gets jealous. This is not a, I don't know one person on this planet that has never felt jealousy before. It is a human emotion. Okay. And when you understand the purpose of jealousy, then you can admit, yes, I've been jealous before, because all it is just a mirror back to the person who's feeling jealous. It's just a mirror back to them. Like, you could be doing that, but you chose not to. You know, you could be making millions of dollars, but you're choosing not to do the thing that's going to get you there. Okay. You could be traveling the world. You could, but you're choosing to stay at the job that you're at right now, and you have to be there in person every day. So you're choosing that life. But there's so many ways for you to work and earn money and travel, right? So whatever the thing is, you could be, on your intentional spiritual path, because we're all on a spiritual path, whether you're intentionally on it or not. But you could be ascending and getting these higher awarenesses and downloads and tapping into this realm and that realm and dealing with these entities and deities and all kinds of stuff. You could be doing that too, but you're just choosing not to. So the jealousy is a reflection back to the one who's jealous of why, of what could happen in your life or how your life could look if you were to allow yourself to experience it. Okay. So even as the person who is doing the thing, who is experiencing the expansion and is experiencing the ascension and the glow up and things really happening for them, right? And you see your friend, your family member, your spouse or whomever being jealous of you, when you understand, oh man, they're just seeing the possibility within me, and they know that they could be doing something, they could be doing similar things, and they're not allowing themselves. That's really what they're feeling. So when you're able to understand that, then you are not going to feel as highly sensitive and emotional about the situation. You're just going to be able to say, I'm going to let them go ahead, and I'm going to just put space between us because I have to stay on my track. I don't have time to coddle and baby somebody and make sure they're okay. I don't want them to feel bad because I'm doing well. I've heard people say that. I have heard people say, I'm not going to post all of my successes on social media because I don't want to boast and make this person who is jealous because they are not experiencing what I'm experiencing. I don't want them to feel bad because I love them. I have heard people say that. Okay. So you don't have time for that. Okay. You don't have time to try to make people feel okay and feel better about you glowing up and being successful and having your goals and your dreams come true. You do not have time to feel bad for somebody who ain't going to do it for themselves. Because who did it for you? You did it for you. You did it by yourself, right? Yes, you might have had assistance and help, but the assistance and help came because you were doing it, right? If you weren't doing anything to get where you wanted to go, you wouldn't need help or assistance. So you got the help and the assistance because you're doing it. You're moving in the direction. Things are coming up. Oh, I got to come up with this money to pay for this. I don't have the money. I need to ask my mama. I need to ask somebody else. I need to ask friends, family to help me. That's how the assistance comes because you're moving. When there's no movement, you don't need no assistance, right? But it all comes down to you. It comes back to you. You're the one who has done it. You did the doing. So why would you feel bad about somebody being upset about that or throwing shade or trying to sabotage you? Now, see, when people try to it's one thing to feel jealous. It's one thing to throw some shade. That type of stuff, you just like, I'm gonna just, keep my distance. I may say hi every now and again, but I know what's going on here. I'm not blind to it, and I know how to protect myself, right? But when people are purposely working against you and trying to sabotage you, y'all already know my story. I ain't got to go back into it. For those of you who don't, you know, go take my spiritual warfare class, is all I got to say. Okay. Or go to my YouTube channel. There's some stuff on there that I've talked about. Okay. But when people are intentionally trying to sabotage you, that is when you need to be a savage. Okay. To protect what is yours, what you have created, what has been assigned to you, you become a savage about protecting what is yours. You become a savage about being more vocal, being more bold, and saying, I don't care, you're not going to stop me. Yeah, you tried to stop this, you tried to stop that, you tried to turn this, you tried to break this down and block this and all of this type of stuff. I'm still here, I'm still going. Okay? That's when you become a savage and you alchemize whatever has happened to you into your fuel, your fire, your purpose. Okay. And you can be a savage in other ways too. That's not what this talk is about today. So you make a decision how you would like to show up as a savage in your own life when people are trying to sabotage your stuff. Because the higher you go, you can guarantee, you can bet on it that somebody is not going to like what you're doing. They're not going to like what you're saying. They're not going to like how you show up. They're not going to like that you're confident. They're not going to like that you talk a lot. They're not going to like that you're sometimes you're real quiet and they can't read you. They don't know what's going on with you. You're going to come up against people like that. And some of them are going to have more than you. Some of them are going to be more successful than you. Some of them are going to have been in your industry or in the game, 20, 30 years, and you fresh face, you just getting in, but you already killing it. And they can see it. They can see the light. They can see your star power. Okay. And they will try to stop you. This is why it's so important to never get distracted. There's going to be distractions, but never get distracted from tapping into your higher power. Okay. I don't care if you only have 5 minutes. You better sit still and activate that awareness, that stream. Okay. That when you're meditating, when you're sitting still, what you're doing is you're activating the stream. The stream is already there. It's always constantly going. But what you're doing, and when I say activate, that means that you're tuning your awareness into the stream of consciousness that is that of source, the highest, purest, truest version of you, the God power inside of you. You are saying, I'm taking this moment right now to ensure that our stream of communication is clear and I can hear what I need to hear. I can see what I need to see. And you're guiding me through this day. You're ordering my steps. I am allowing myself to I'm giving myself a few moments to say, the stream is open and clear. I can hear. Therefore, I know the difference between a talky-walky voice out here trying to tell me things versus what's coming through here. Because I've already done my job. I turned it on. I tapped in and was like, okay, there's the frequency. That's what the frequency feels like for me. But most people are walking around not in frequency. They can't even hear what's happening. We're receiving messages all day long. There is never a time that God is not talking to you. Never. There's a constant. Let me say, think about it like this. You know how there's always something going on in the world? News is now 24/7 because they want to make sure you know all the problems, all the pain, all the heartache, all the hardship. They want to make sure you know about all the dangerous things in the world. Everything can kill you. Everybody's trying to kill you. Everybody's being killed. They making sure that energy makes sure it gets its message to you. So do you think that if that energy is able to constantly send you messages of doom and gloom and death and illness and all kinds of things, right? Do you really think that the higher consciousness, the higher energy is not going to be sending messages? You think it's just like, oh, I'm just going to let them? No. That higher part is always talking, it's always guiding. It's not as loud as the other one, but you do have to tap in. You have to activate that point. You got to activate that on a daily basis. You cannot skip a beat. You got to be quiet and sit and activate it. So you cannot be thrown off your path. The only one who should be able to throw you off your path is you. All of the things that have happened in my life and that I have allowed myself to experience, yes, allowed myself to experience is because I allowed myself to experience it. It wasn't because somebody caught me off guard. It wasn't because I was surprised. At some point down the line, I picked up on something and I chose to let myself have the experience. Okay. When you are super tapped in, it doesn't matter how jealous, how envious, how shady somebody is, or how much they try to sabotage you. You cannot be, you can never be tricked. Okay? You can never be tricked. I just want you to know this. You can't be tricked because no matter whether or not you're not tapped into that higher awareness, you always get signs and signals. Right? When you talk to anybody who is telling you a story about a time they were attacked or a time that, something told them not to go over here or something told them to just stay home, right? These may not be the most spiritual people. They may not even pray. But that information finds its way to them. So we always get clued in. We always get signs and signals. We're always being protected and held, but it is our job to take heed to it. I don't know one person that has ever said, I just didn't hear, I never got any type of signal from that. Yes, you did. At some point you did, but you decided to have the experience anyway. And because you chose to have the experience anyway, right? You still got something out of it. You were still able to move forward in a way that made you stronger and better and gave you more wisdom. Okay. Not blaming anybody for anything that has ever happened to them, but at some point we do have to take responsibility. I was watching this documentary last night. What is it? Beauty and Bester, about this guy in South Africa who was like a serial I don't know if he was a serial killer or whatever, but he was assaulting women and unaliving them. And he met this doctor, this really successful doctor who was like a big influencer on social media and everything like that. Very, very smart, intelligent woman. But somehow she got herself wrapped up with this guy, right? Um, and they ended up, doing a lot of illegal stuff together, she wasn't down for all of it, but she was down for it because she did it anyway, right? But you don't think at some point she knew this is not a good idea. Some point she knew something told her, don't do this. Please don't go over there and do that. And she decided to have the experience anyway. Now, why we decide to do that, I don't know why. Okay. But that's self-sabotage at its finest. Okay. He sabotaged her entire life. But for some reason, she needed to have that experience. So I'm saying all of this to say, when the signs show up, when you get those feelings and those nudges that somebody around you is jealous, that they are throwing a little bit of shade, you might even notice that some people are trying to like purposely stop your opportunities, or maybe they made an actual phone call to a company that was getting ready to hire you and threw some salt on your name, okay, some shade on your name that stopped you from getting the job or what have you. When something happened before that phone call came, you knew it was something off about that person. So what I'm saying is you have to take action. Okay. Now for me, that action comes magically. That action shows up as, very, very, very strong ironclad protection. Sometimes it shows up as, them getting their butts handed to them. Okay. Sometimes it shows up as them getting sick, whatever it is, whatever needs to happen. When I catch wind of certain things taking place in my life or with people around me, and I know that if they had a chance, if they had a shot at trying to stop me, if they had a shot at trying to cause harm to me, they would because I've received the signal. I usually do not wait. I have waited in the past and absolutely regretted it. I learned something from it, but I regretted it because I didn't take heed to it. So now when I get that, I trust it. Okay, I trust that nudge, that inkling, that word. So we can say all day long, oh, they're hating on me, be aware, be careful of jealous people. Okay, how do you be careful of jealous people? First of all, you put space between you and that person. You don't come around as much. You don't talk that much to them. You don't do a lot of energy exchange with that person. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is put your energetic protections up. Whether you work with angels, God, Jesus, I don't care who it is. Okay, whatever it is that you tap into, I'm not here to tell you who to tap into. That's your business. That's between you and your higher self. Okay. You need to put your protections up. The other thing you need to do is you need to put what I call fail safes up. If is the if then process. If this person over here does XYZ to try to stop me, then XYZ will happen. Okay. You have the right to protect what is yours and defend yourself because I guarantee you others will do the same. Others will do the same. And you need to be doing this, especially if you are in the public eye, if you are an influencer of any type, okay? If you are in the entertainment business, if you run, a Fortune 500 company, if you know that there's a lot of eyes on you, you really need to make sure you have these things in place. Okay? I hope that this has been helpful for you all today. Please do get on my email list. We are getting ready to release the Sovereign Wealth Archetypes ebook and quiz so that you can identify your money archetype, that pattern that is running inside of you that keeps you locked in the same cycle of whatever your particular financial issue is. Okay. It's a very, very in-depth read, and there's a lot of really juicy things in there, and it's going to help you get a better handle on understanding how your mind works and what your potential program is around your money beliefs, okay, and your wealth beliefs. So definitely get on the list for that. So as soon as it is ready, you're the first one to know about that, and you can get your hands on it as soon as possible. All right. So I thank you guys for your time and your energy today. Please share this video with anybody that you think may be interested. I am still looking for 2 more Sovereign Millionaire Activation beta testers. I need 2 more people to sign up. This is a 2-day activation. It's a one-on-one session. We're together anywhere between 4 to 5 hours each day. You can spread the days out if you want to. Okay, you don't have to do it back to back. Most of the people that I'm working with right now, they needed time in between. Okay, and you can absolutely do that. I will be wrapping this beta test up around the middle part of October so that I can start to do the full rollout of the Sovereign Millionaire Activation. And the full price for that is going to range between 12,500 up to 30,000. Okay. So right now in the beta test format, you're going to get a deeply discounted rate, but I am looking for 2 more people. If you know anybody who might be interested, who is a high earner or a high achiever, or they used to be, and they kind of lost their way and they're trying to get their way back, or if they're currently a high earning person and they're running into different emotional and mental blockages and they need some help getting over that, then please put them in contact with me. All right. I thank you all for your time and your attention today. I am Shara Prophet, and I'll see you all Next week, same time, same place. Hopefully by then my tech issues will have been wrapped up. All right, y'all. Thank you. Bye.